Hello, I'm Sue Hamilton, and I'd like to welcome you to this video introduction to Enchanted Quest, where we'll cover the information in sections 1 and 2 of the handbook, which can be found on the resources page of the website, enchantedquest.net. It answers the questions, what is Enchanted Quest and what can it offer your students, and what do you and your students need to play it? There'll be an overview of the background story and the modules, their structure and themes. And finally, in this video, we'll be looking at how a full quest might play out. What is Enchanted Quest? Enchanted Quest is a web-based game for violin and viola teachers to play with their primary school-aged students. Using scales as a vehicle, Enchanted Quest motivates students to practice them mindfully, to establish an optimum setup and further develop a range of bowing skills. Along the way, it encourages them to be open to new ideas, develop mental and physical stamina, focus in performance, and afterwards reflect. But most importantly, it encourages them to recognize and celebrate their achievements. So what do you, the teacher, need to play it? You need only 5 minutes of lesson time or more, and as Enchanted Quest is a web-based resource, of course you need a computer or iPad. You also need a 4-sided dice for adventures and challenges involving the left hand and a 6-sided dice. It's also helpful to have a scorebook to record each student's progress. This 6-page booklet is also downloadable from the resources page and is useful for planning your students' journey and keeping a record of their progress, especially if they forget their copy. I use a black and white stapled version for myself. A projector is not required, but it does enhance your students' experience, and it can help to draw their attention away from what you're doing at the keyboard. And I also recommend a printed copy of the map, as it will enhance their understanding of the scope of their journey and of their progress. What does your student need? Well, for the modules in levels 1 and 2, your student needs to be able to play a 1 or 2 octave scale, whereas for modules in levels 3, 4 and 5, a 2 or 3 octave scale is recommended. 2 octave scale maps are available from the resources page. Your student will also need their own scorebook to record the wisdom they gain and their gold tally. I give my students a colour printed and spiral bound copy from my local print shop. Getting started. Enchanted Quest is made up of 14 themed modules. The first step is to read the background story to your student using the Eisenach module. However, to save time here, I'm going to use the map to explain the story to you. Enchanted Quest is set 300 years ago in the forest around the town of Eisenach, where Bach lived until he was 10 years old. The student's quest is to travel through the forest to the Abbey of Fulda to claim the Book of Spells from the wizard. In the forest are 13 torches or beacons which light the path, and their keepers show the way. These are the 13 active modules. Each module is named after its beacon keeper, and each is designed around a theme. For example, the tree is the module to choose if your student needs help to improve their posture or instrument balance. We'll take a look at the themes of the modules a little further on, but first let's look inside each module. Most modules have 3 sections. In the first section of most modules, the beacon keeper shares their wisdom and sets the main task. The beacon keeper is actually you, the teacher, and setting the task yourself enables to use your own priorities and insights to cater to each individual student. Your student will win gold coins by demonstrating that task throughout the entire module, so you'll have lots of opportunities to review it with them. The second section is almost always the adventure section, which contains exercises based on the theme of the module and gives the student opportunities to win more gold coins. And the third section is the challenge set by the enchanted beast, which makes the task more difficult to perform. Here the stakes are considerably higher, as the enchanted beast will take gold coins away if the student doesn't succeed, and there are no second chances. Now we're going to look at the module's themes, and I'll also give some examples of the tasks you might set. Around Eisenach, the level 1 and 2 foundation modules are about helping your student to establish their best posture, instrument hold and basic movement patterns. As already mentioned, the tree is the module to choose if your student needs help to improve their posture, ease and familiarity with instrument placement, or general physical management. When using the tree, I might say to my student, the tree's wisdom is about finding that special place on your shoulder for your instrument to rest so that playing is easy. Your task is to keep your violin balanced on your shoulder when you play your scale. When I'm speaking with my students, I use the word realm instead of module, and I also use the concept of the realms to encourage a student to think about their task even when they're not playing the game. For example, I might say, don't forget, you're still in the realm of the tree, so remember the wisdom you were given there. The river is the module which helps to improve coordination, fluency, and confidence. Even though it isn't strictly a bowing module, I often use the river module to encourage a beginner student to gain an awareness of the bow. I might say something like, the river's wisdom will keep the music flowing. Your task is to keep your bow moving all the time when you play your scale. The Archer 1 module helps to introduce the bow hold to a beginner. Here I sometimes say, the archer's wisdom will help the bow to sound beautiful. Your task is to keep your pinky on the top of your bow when you play your scale. The final level 1 module, the hair, could be used for improving left hand finger shape, placement, or angle of wrist, or any other left hand issues that need addressing. Here you might say, the hair's wisdom will help your left hand to make beautiful notes. Your task is to use the tips of your fingers when you play your scale. In level 2, the owl reviews themes from level 1, and the songbird is about listening and copying. Here I might say, the songbird's wisdom will help you to listen well. Your task is to copy what you hear. Then I might play a note or a sequence of notes with or without rhythm and ask the student to play it back. The level 3 modules are the Archer series, which help consolidate the use of the bow and introduce bow strokes. They offer further opportunities to set a task in relation to the student's use of the bow, such as bent thumb or relaxed fingers. The modules in the Archer series are the only modules which need to be done in order. The modules get harder as they get closer to the wizard, and modules in level 4 build on established skills. The woodsman helps students to develop mental and physical stamina, and the mirror pool encourages agency and self-reflection. In level 5, the physic garden introduces combinations of bow strokes and thinking and counting while playing. And finally, the wizard, the reason why we are journeying at all, encourages students to play expressively. How a quest might play out. Assuming the game is played for 5 minutes every week, one module will take approximately 4 weeks to complete. So if you plan to visit most of the modules under these conditions, it will take 1 to 2 years to reach the wizard. But if you want to finish the game sooner, you can, by choosing the wizard module as it's accessible to students of any skill level. Just for now, let's see how a full quest might play out. You can choose the modules in any order or any number of times. So the following is an example only. However, if you do have a map in your studio, it's important that you visit modules in such a way that your student feels they are making progress towards the wizard. In other words, try not to go backwards. One scorebook has enough pages to visit 4 realms or modules, so in a full quest, it will take approximately 4 scorebooks to reach the wizard. Scorebook number 1. In your first scorebook, you might teach your student a major scale, and you might visit the 4 foundation modules in level 1, the tree, the archer, the river, and the hare, before returning to Eisenach for a final review of all the wisdom gained. Scorebook number 2 gives you a chance to change the scale, and as this might introduce a new technical element, in this case 3rd position, it might be necessary to revisit one of the level 1 modules to review the task from the previous game. Visiting a module more than once is less interesting for children as they love to explore. However, it can be very effective in fixing a particularly persistent bad habit. For example, if you revisit the hare, you might say, "We've been here before. It looks like the wizard really is serious about helping you with your left hand. It seems that you won't be able to claim the book of spells until you're comfortable playing on the tips of your fingers. Let's show the wizard that you can do this." Following on from this module, you might choose the owl if you need to further review the wisdom learnt in level 1. Then the Archer 2 and 3 bowstroke modules before returning to Eisenach. In Scorebook 3, with a more complex scale, in this case involving a shift, you might visit the Songbird, then the last in the Archer series, followed by the Woodsman and the Physic Garden before returning to Eisenach. In Scorebook 4, with a new scale, you may repeat the Archer 4 module, followed by the Mirror Pool, and finally the Wizard for the final performance and the awarding of the certificate. This is available from the resources page. I hope this introduction to Enchanted Quest has been helpful and that you feel it would be a really fun activity for you and your young students. Further information is available in the next video, which covers sections 3 and 4 of the handbook. Don't forget the handbook itself can be found under the Resources tab, or if you still have questions, send an email to info@enchantedquest.net.